I am just over the border from Cambridgeshire in the county of Nottinghamshire. On a fantastically beautiful late March day. I'm at a place called, never know how to pronounce this properly, Lyveden New Bield house. It's a Tudor house built by Sir Thomas Tresham, who was a Catholic in the reign of Elizabeth I. What magnificent views. There's a house nearby here called the Triangular Lodge, and there's a lot of imagery and stuff in it to do with the Catholics. They've changed all this now. You have to used to park over there. Now you park down the bottom there and walk up the hill through the orchard. This looks like a motte, but it's not. It's a viewing platform. I'm not sure this was ever finished, this house. It's a late Tudor property. There's the orchard and the manor house just beyond it. So I think the National, I don't know if it belonged to the National Trust, but they must have bought it, because that's where the tea room is, and that's where we're going to stop for a coffee and a piece of cake later. Hopefully. As you can see, you used to have to stop at the bottom of the road down there and then walk all the way up the hill. And then they changed it, where you used to park over there. There's a little cottage which is now a holiday let apparently. But now they've reworked the whole thing again. In the centre there's something called the Labyrinth, which was a like a maze made up of the crops, etc. I think they discovered it in World War II when reconnaissance planes had flown over. I think Luftwaffe reconnaissance planes had flown over photographing the area to see what was around, and noticed the labyrinth. Although I don't think they were worried about the archaeology at the time, but it was later looked at. Obviously by archaeologists. Assume we have to go into the middle through that gate there. The National Trust people who sit down the bottom there now have got themselves a little tiny, one of those little Romanry gypsy type caravans. There used to be a bookshop here, but I think that's gone now. I don't think there'll be anybody up here when we get up here. That was the road that used to go down, and you eventually used to come up here. There's the house, or the that used to have a little tea room in it, but that's gone. The car park used to be over there. I think the road used to... No, yeah, this was the road, wasn't it? Yeah, and then it went in there. There's the house that we're going to go and have a look at over there. And then we'll come back and wander through there. I'll walk on the grass. It sounds like I'm marching otherwise. Haven't done any square bashing for over 20 years, so now there's them people came up earlier. You must be able to get through there. This is the 4th time I've been here. Oh, fish in there. I don't think they'll be able to get around this bit. They'll have to go round to the gate. I think that there, that mound, is meant to be like a spiral. Or at least one of them is. It's a bit odd for the water to be up here because we're quite high up. We're almost on a hill. So for the water to be staying here, I think you can see the spiral there. When it was built, it would have been more of a spiral to go around it. Yeah, we're on a hill here, so for water to stay here and settle up here, because normally, obviously gravity, the water would sink down. Wasn't a great time to be a Catholic in the 1500s. Towards the end of the 1500s, with Henry VIII changing the Catholic Church to the Church of England. And his son Edward VI remained a Catholic country, and then the Lady Jane Grey for a few 9 days. This is a weird entrance, this, to get in. And then obviously Mary the First, when she came in, she went back to being a Catholic, so then it was the opposite. I don't think the entrance would have been this low. Yeah, when Mary the First came back in, she tried to turn the country back into a Catholic country, so it wasn't that good to be a Protestant. That's why she was known as Bloody Mary, because of all the executions. Not as many as her father, Henry. And then obviously she was replaced by Elizabeth I. Elizabeth I was a little bit more tolerant to Catholics, so it wasn't as bad. Would have been floors there and stairs and so on. Yeah, it was a little bit easier to be a Catholic. I think you had to pay fines, etc. That's why Sir Thomas built Triangular Lodge. It's nice sometimes when they restore the odd tower in places like this, and that you can climb up to the top. Sir Thomas Tresham was a very rich man to build something like this, or have something like this built. Oh, we do love a stair. Yeah, we definitely love a stair. Oh, even if it only goes to a little tiny balcony. I was going to say that was a fox, but it's not. Dog walkers. You can see the views from up here that you would have seen. They would have had glass in the windows. even though glass was very, very expensive at any time period. But the amount of glass in these windows, all the graffiti, I mean 1855, you can forgive people like that, not modern day stuff. Down we go. There's bits of timber still left in there, but I think it's just plants growing. This is a very oddly high entranceway. Still got remains of where a door would have been. The hinges. Those shields around the outside would have had something on them. As you can see at the top, there's loads of them around the top. That one looks like an angel. Magnificent views. Oundle is just over there. Nearest big town, Northampton, would have been over there. And Kettering is over there. Corby over in that direction. Very impressive looking place. Just turn the camera off while I walk over there. Ah, we're back round inside the enclosure now. I think they've cut some trees down there. Oh, I think people have been walking up there. This is a little spiral. These gardens here would have served pretty much no purpose other than ornamental. They may have had some growing some plants and herbs and such like in here, but for most of it would have just been a pleasure garden. The orchard over there would have grown food. This would have just been a viewing platform. One to be a bit vain and look at your house, and also various deer parks that would have been around here, hunting, etc. Over in that direction there's another Tudor mansion type house, English heritage property, and the name has completely escaped me at the moment. I'll remember it in a minute. Kirby Hall, that's it, Kirby Hall. That's another Elizabethan property. although it was in a sort of a pretty I don't know what the word would be, turmoil time. The house wasn't built for defence, purely for luxury. A getaway from London. Certainly during the plague, when was it, 1666? Would have been a good place to come. Don't think I can get round that way. No, sorry, 1665 was the plague, because 1666 was the Great Fire of London, which probably helped get rid of it. There's another one of them spirals there. We do have some really nice countryside around this area. Animals. See if I can go and see where this labyrinth thing was meant to be. Not sure if this little bridge was here last time I came here. I think that was with my niece Sarah. At least 6-7 years ago. It's got a mild day today, but so it's not as windy as it might have been. I could imagine this had been a windy place all the way up here on a hill. Not that we live in mountains, but we do have the odd little hill. Certainly if you come from the flatter areas, the fenlands just over there. I bet that gentleman there standing on the labyrinth. Mind you, with this low grass on it, I don't know how much of it you can see. See the other spiral. At first glance you would think that these mounds were sort of Motte and Baileys, but they're not. Yeah, I think the labyrinth, that thing is here. I don't think you can see it. You'd have to look at it from the air. But on a day like today, this is a beautiful place to come and visit.